got another sample question. Question number 8, again, still in that 6-3, 6-4 range. Notice the directions say factor completely. So you're going to have to see if you have to do GCF, if you have to do arch, shortcut, FOIL. Now some of you would probably say, ooh, 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, and has a leading coefficient. So when you do this, you're going to do 10 times 35, and then you're going to be like, uh-oh, 350? That's a large number to do any combos list. Well, what was the first thing that you forgot to do? We forgot to say, is there a GCF? So don't go right into saying, oh, there's 3 terms. Let's try to do it as arch or shortcut or whatever. Every time you see any type of problem that says factor completely, your first step is to try to say, was there a GCF? Do they have the same letter? No. Do they have the same number? You should recognize that this ends in 5, 5, and a 0. You should know that this is 2 and 5. This is 3, 3, 5. This is 5, 7. They all have a 5. Does it start with a negative? No. But it does have a 5. So that means the GCF we can take out as a 5. If I divide each one of these by 5, you can see my leftover would be 2x squared. This would be minus 9x. And this is going to be positive 7. Now, just because we found a GCF doesn't mean you're done. We always said look for GCF first, then count the number of terms left over. So let's focus on just the leftover part. We see that it has 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. So we know it's either shortcut, arch, or the FOIL. I see that there's a leading term, so goodbye to shortcut. So I'm between FOIL and arch. And I know that I don't like FOIL, so I'm going to arch it. Multiply this with this, and now see that our first, when you multiply, that we have to do the combos list, is 14. That is so much better than 350. That's why we always said it's very important to do the GCF, because that changes the way you approach a problem. Now that we know that when we do the arch, we only get 14, you can come up with the combos of 14 in 2 seconds. 1 and 14, 2 and 7. That's it. We're going to have to add the combos. Remember, that's step 3. So we get a 15 and we get a 9. Step 4, choose a combo. 15, 9. We have a 9 as our middle term of the coefficient, so we're going to choose the 2 and the 7. Step 5, split. This coefficient goes away. The new coefficients will be the chosen combo of 2 and 7. Bring down the variable. Do not leave these as constants. Bring down x and x. Have to bring down the variable part. Now, step 6, we need some signs here. Are they going to be same or different? Because it's a plus, they have to be the same. Now, that could mean 2 positives or 2 negatives, so you always start with the bigger number. Shoot up the ladder. That always has to have the same sign as the middle. So this is the reason why this is going to be a minus. And since this is the same, also a minus. Makes sense. -2, -7, 2 negatives you add. Who wins the tug of war? Team 7. So that's how I would have got a -9. Bring down the first term. Bring down the last term. 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So you're done with arching, but you haven't finished factoring because we want to do this as the grouping method. So I'll rewrite it. You don't. You could start doing the parentheses here. It's up to you. To do the grouping here, parentheses, parentheses. Ooh, they have a lot in common. X's and 2's. So I'm going to take a 2x out. Now remember, this is x squared. So you still have an x left over here. And then negative 2x divided by positive 2x. Anytime you're dividing the same item, it's going to be a 1. And then negative divided by positive is negative 1. Here, they both have a 7. And starts as a negative. Remember, I always said no matter what, bring it down anyway. So if I divide each term by negative 7, remember, why negative 7? Because that's the only way I'm going to get a negative 1 back here. And negative 7 over negative 7, they cancel out to be just a positive x. With these matching, they become one set of parentheses. Running out of the room, I'll stick it up here. X minus 1. And then this and this, your leftovers are the other set of parentheses. 2x minus 7. Now, before I say, is this your final answer? Gotta remember, there's a GCF. You must bring it as part of our final answer. So notice we took out a GCF of 5. If you multiply this and this, there's no way you're going to get a 35, 45, and 10. You have to bring out the GCF in front. This is now your final answer. The GCF that we found here, and then the two parentheses that we found using the grouping method after the arch.